Hi, I'm Bryan and I'm the host of the Philippine Business Playbook podcast, and I'm also the CEO of Tache. Today's episode, building a great rapport with your team in the Philippines. I know you're excited about your team in the Philippines. You've gone through all the resumes, you did the interviews, you've really struggled over the decision on who you're going to bring on. And now you've got two or three great team members in your offshore office in the Philippines. But now is not the time to sit back and relax. Now the hard work of building rapport with your team begins, because that is the key to success. The team in the Philippines really depends on your connection with their counterparts in the US, whether or not it's their team lead or their boss or you yourself. Because as we know, communication is the key to success of any team. And that's really going to depend on your rapport with your offshore team. In order to build rapport with your team, first it's important to understand the basic work culture in the Philippines. Number one, Filipinos really value strong team relationships. They emphasize building and maintaining a good relationship with their coworkers, especially team members who can be considered a family at work. Even though Filipinos have great mastery of the English language, there's some very significant cultural differences in the way they communicate that really is important for Americans to understand with working with their Filipino team. Filipinos really value respect and hierarchy. So you're really going to see your Filipino teammates communicating to their bosses, saying words like ma'am and sir, and that's just part of their culture. I know that when I first started working with my team in the Philippines and hearing the people that worked with me refer to me as Sir Bryan, that was something that was a little bit unique for me. And it took a little bit of time for me to get used to that. But now, I embrace it. I understand that that's part of their culture and that's a way of them showing respect for their leaders. And so for a lot of my clients, when they start working with their team and they have their teammates or their team referring to them as sir or ma'am, it can be a little bit jarring at first, but that's something that I think you just have to understand is part of the culture of the Philippines. Additionally, they're really respectful in their communication using phrases like po and opo. This indicates respect as well, and so you're going to hear that word intermingled within their language all the time as a way to kind of show additional respect when they're talking to their team leads and their managers and such. Additionally, Filipinos like to be a little bit less direct in things. In the US, we value just being straightforward and getting to the point. In the Philippines, that's a little bit more difficult for them. They don't want to be, they don't want to create conflict. And so sometimes it may take a little bit more time to get to the point. And you just got to understand that. Or you've got to kind of train them that that's not the way you like to communicate. And so there's kind of finding a middle point there. I know that I've really tried to emphasize with my team that I appreciate frankness. I appreciate them being honest and direct. And I think that that's something that they've gotten good at, but that was not something that everyone is great at right at the beginning, because the culture of the Philippines is to be a little bit less confrontational and to not necessarily to say that something is not right when they see something going wrong. And I think that once you understand that, you can address it and you can try and mold them a little bit towards a more US style of being direct, but don't expect that to happen overnight. Here's a few tips on building rapport with your Filipino employees. Filipinos love to celebrate milestones, so any milestone, big or small, is an opportunity to get together and celebrate with your team. Whether it's a small pizza party or a tray of pancit, these small opportunities to bring your team together to share some food is really going to build rapport with your team. If you can't do that, or if they're working from home, I'd suggest an e-card or some sort of gift card that they can utilize to buy themselves a little gift. That's also an easy way to show that you appreciate your team and the successes that they had, and will go a long way to build rapport between your U.S. team and your Filipino team. Additionally, recognizing their cultural holidays. So the Philippines has lots of holidays, but in addition to that, they actually do enjoy their holidays, whether it's All Saints Day or Good Friday or obviously Christmas. These are huge holidays where Filipinos will get together as a family and eat food and do their celebrations together. It's unlike in the U.S. where there's people that don't generally celebrate holidays. In the Philippines, for the most part, they all do. And so recognizing those holidays and supporting them when they want to celebrate those is going to go a long way to build your bond with your team. Embracing Kamustahan sessions. So these are get to know you sessions, opportunities to really kind of come together with your team. And so when you do that on a regular basis, you're going to have an opportunity to learn about your team and understand what's going on in their lives and catch up with them as they go through their lives and what the work is that they're doing for you. Another aspect in building rapport with your team is to really understand and respect the shift schedules that you have your team working on. So if they're working the overnight shift, kind of understand that after a certain hour they're off shift and they're going to be either away from their computers or possibly not responding. And so understanding that and communicating what expectations are to your team is really going to help the stress level of your team. If they're constantly worried about messages that are coming in and wondering when they need to respond to them, that's going to cause them stress and not aid in building a bond between you and your team if they don't feel like you're empathetic to their daily lives. And finally, just showing some interest in the Filipino culture. For example, in Cebu, they've got a huge Sinulog festival that happens every January. I was able to attend the Sinulog festival a few years back and go to the parade and see all the beautiful costumes and the dancing and the food. And it was a great opportunity to really see some of the culture of the Philippines and visiting the historic sites and going to some of the culturally significant locations. For example, the Rizal statue and those sites where he was held prior to the Spanish Revolution or the revolution from Spain. Those are opportunities to really learn about the culture of the Philippines and what your team is like. So if you go to the Philippines, I suggest you do that. And I think it will help bond you with your team. I hope this episode gave you a few tips on how to build a rapport with your Filipino team. I know that when a lot of people start building their team overseas, they're really focused on the skills and the experience of their team. And then they quickly realize that, hey, bonding with my team is really going to be a game changer in their efficiency, in their empathy for the company and the project that we're trying to complete. And so finding ways to build that rapport is really important. And I hope that a few of these tips resonated with you and you can use them with your own team. If you got any other ideas or questions, put a comment down below. We'd love to start a conversation with you and hear what you've done with your teams. Additionally, if you know a business owner or somebody that's trying to start a business in the Philippines or an office in the Philippines, share this episode with them. I'd love to grow the community and show these tips to other people. And if you want more insights into how business is done in the Philippines, Like and subscribe to the Philippine Business Playbook podcast, and we can see you on our next episode. Thanks, guys.